Now coming to the monostable multivibrator, which do have only one stable state and one quasi-stable state. This is a digital form of a monostable multivibrator. We can understand the operation of the monostable multivibrator using two NOR gates. NOR gate is nothing but a OR gate with inverted output. Means we can, if you have the bubble at the output, OR gate will become NOR gate. If the input for the OR gate is 0 0, output will be high. If the input for the NOR gate is high, output will be low. Look at here carefully. We have a two NOR gates, U1 and U2. In between two NOR gates, we have a high pass filter. Right? High pass filter. What this capacitor actually does is, if there is change at the output of U1, then only it will allow that state to a U2. Otherwise, it doesn't allow the state to U2 from U1, because capacitor allows the change. Capacitor allows the AC voltage. AC voltage means change. Right? Here, look at the RT. RT is connected to the positive voltage. So the same positive voltage is given to the U2. Two inputs are connected together and given to the second NOR gate. Means both the inputs for the second NOR gate is high. If both the inputs for the NOR gate is high, output is 0. So that low output or 0 output is given back to the U1 in the form of a feedback. Right? And one of the input is left free for us to change the states from high to low. So let us assume if the input is 0. If the input is 0, the output of U1 is going to be as input is one of the input is 0 and another input is 0 0 0. For 0 0 inputs, NOR gate produces output, so output of U1 is 1. The same 1 will travel to U2, output is going to be 0. Right? So if the input is high, instead of taking the input as 0, if you take the input as 1, the output of first NOR gate is going to be 0. There would be no change. There is a change from 1 to 0. Earlier output of U1 is 1. Now output of U1 is 0. There is a change from 1 to 0. So high pass filter allows this change and gives as a input to the U1. Right? So output of U2 is going to be 1. So how much of time output of U1 is going to be 1 is depends upon this R and C values. RC is nothing but the time constant. In this way, we can analyze a monostable multivibrator with using NOR gates. The same analogy will be applicable for transistorized monostable multivibrator. Right? If you look at the transistorized monostable multivibrator, here we have used two transistors in cross coupled configuration. Means one output of one transistor is given to the input of the another transistor. See here, output of one transistor is given to the input of another transistor. Similarly, output of another transistor is given to the input of TR2. So, but there is a difference between these two circuits. This is not a symmetrical circuit. Symmetrical circuit means if you draw the line exactly at the center, if you have the same component count at both the sides, that circuit is called as a symmetrical circuit. This is absolutely not a symmetrical circuit. Look at here. On the left side, we have on TR1 side we have a capacitor. On TR2 side, we don't have any capacitor. So this is completely unsymmetrical circuit. Initially, this TR1, if you look at the base of TR1, it is given with a high pass circuit and a diode. If you look at the base of TR2, it is given with a capacitor and resistor. Right? As the resistor is connected to VCC, the same VCC, rather some part of VCC will connect it to the TR2, base of the TR2. So that's why this transistor Q2 or TR2 will become on. If the transistor is on, if the TR2 is on, output is going to be 0. Why? Because it is acting, if transistor is on, it is operating, we are operating the transistor in a saturation mode. If it is in a saturation mode, output is 0. If the output is 0, Vout is 0, the same 0 volt is given to the base of the TR1, right? So TR1 is provided with a 0 volts, so output is high for TR1. Output is high for TR1. Now what exactly the output, the total output, or where exactly we are observing the output is at TR2. In this state output is 0. Output is 0. This entire thing, this diode IN4148 and capacitor and resistor R4 is consisting of a triggering circuit, right? We are not applied the triggering, right? Before the triggering, output is 0. Before the triggering, output is 0. Why? Because we are operating the transistor TR2 in saturation, TR1 in cutoff, right? So when and only when we apply the triggering, right, this is the triggering pulse which passes through the high pass filter, and there is a diode. High pass filter filters out the thing, and output of the high pass filter is going to be impulses at different instances, right? We have a impulses at this point, and these impulses, only positive impulses will be allowed to pass through IN4148. So we are going to have positive impulses at TR1. Once we apply the triggering pulse and remove, the positive voltage will be there at the TR1. That positive voltage will switch on the transistor T1. If transistor T1 is in saturation mode, output of TR1 is going to be 0. If the output of TR1 is 0, the capacitor starts discharging, right? Capacitor starts discharging to 0 volts, which is charged earlier. As voltage on the capacitor is changed suddenly from high to low, earlier TR1 is in cutoff mode, so it is in cutoff mode. Output of TR1 is high, so one end of the capacitor is provided with VCC, and now same capacitor end is provided with 0 volts, right? So capacitor is changed suddenly from, voltage on capacitor is changed suddenly from high to low. It, as the nature of the capacitor is, capacitor doesn't allow the sudden change in the input, sudden change in the voltage. That's why it generates a negative voltage on the opposite side to retain its voltage. So the transistor TR2 will be off. Why transistor TR2 will be off means, earlier before triggering transistor TR2 is on. Why this transistor 2 is on means, this we have got the positive voltage from the RT and it is given to the base. That's why transistor TR2 on. Now we have applied the triggering pulse. The triggering pulse is provided some positive voltage to the TR1. If positive voltage is provided to the TR1 goes into the saturation mode. If it goes into the saturation mode, output will be 0. Earlier our output of TR1 is VCC, now output of TR1 is 0. So voltage on capacitor is changed suddenly. If the voltage on capacitor changes suddenly, it will doesn't allow that change, and in other way it will convey that change to the other plate. So earlier here we have VCC, now we have grounded this TR1. That's why capacitor generates a negative voltage. The negative voltage will be transferred to the base of the TR2 will be off, right? So if the TR2 will be off, output is going to be high, right? So output is going to be high, right? So as TR2 is in cutoff mode, output is supposed to be high. So how much amount of time output will be high means it depends upon RT and CT. As initially capacitor is charged, when we apply the triggering pulse, capacitor is started discharging, right? When we remove the triggering pulse, capacitor again charges, right? When that capacitor attains 0.7 volts, TR2 switches on again. So the stable state for monostable multivibrator is low state. It is going to be at the high state for some amount of time, which is determined by RT and CT. Fine. So that's why it is written, since RT provides positive voltage TR2, since RT provides positive voltage TR2 is on, then Vout is low initially. Vout is low. If triggering input is applied, TR1 will be on. If the triggering pulse is applied, TR1 will be on. CT discharges, Vout is 1. If CT discharges, TR1 is on, this is off, that's why output is high. Till at what amount of time this the status of high is not permanent, it depends upon the RC time constant. That's what I said, right? So till CT charges makes TR2 into the saturation, then output is 0. Now moving on, this is the output graph of this monostable multivibrator. When and only when triggering pulse is negative, triggering pulse is given, then only there would be a change at the output, right? Before the triggering output is 0. When triggering is applied, negative pulse triggering is applied, output is high. We can change the width of the high duration, right, by changing the R and C, right? That's what I written here. Initially output is low here, right? Output is low, which is nothing but a stable state. When negative pulse is applied at the output, output is changed to high for short duration determined by RT and CT. When and only when negative pulse is applied, then only output is changed from low to high. The duration of this high pulse is determined by RT and CT. Here R3 provides feedback path. Where is the R3? Look at here. This is the R3. Feedback path from TR to TR1, from collector of TR2 to TR1. Now moving on to the simulation part, right? We are going to simulate this circuit in a real time. This is the how we simulate using this website. This is the monostable multivibrator. Look at here. Here also we have two transistors, right, in a feedback path. Look at here. Resistor from collector of Q1 is connected to base of the Q2. In a similar manner, some part of voltage of Q2 is connected to Q1. So there is a feedback cross connection from output to the input and output to the input. So this is nothing but a monostable multivibrator. This arrangement is nothing but a triggering, external triggering. Now let us simulate this circuit and see. Before the simulation, let us observe the voltage at the collector of Q1 and collector of Q2. See here, the voltage at the collector is 45 millivolts. 45 millivolts is nothing but approximately 0, right? So 0 means this transistor is in on state. Let us confirm whether this Q1 is on or off by looking at the base voltage. Once again, right, this base voltage is 677 millivolts, means 0.67 volts. So base voltage is 0.67 and collector voltage is 0, approximately 0. So transistor Q1 is in on state, right? Triggering is not applied, transistor Q1 is in on state. In a similar fashion, let us look at the output of Q2. See here, output of Q2 is 5 volts. In a similar fashion, base voltage of Q2 is less than 0.6. So that's why this left side transistor is in off state, right side transistor in on state. That's what we talked about in the theory also, right? right side transistor will be on initially before triggering. The left side transistor will be off. Right, let us see what will happen if I apply the triggering for a moment. Let us run it. Right, this is the output before triggering. What we are getting, this is the output. We are getting low output. Right, let us apply the triggering for one moment and leave it, release it. See here, at the output of Q1, for some certain duration output is high. Right, this is what we have said in the theory also. When and only when triggering pulse is applied, output will change from low to high. That duration of high pulse is depends upon this 1 kilo ohm and 18 microfarad capacitor. Right, once again you apply the triggering. Let us see. We have got the output here. Right. So the one thing we supposed to note here, right, no matter how many times once we apply the triggering, right, even you keep that triggering switch on, even then also we are going to have only one triggering pulse. Means we supposed to take care, we supposed to allow some time for the capacitor Q2 to switch between cutoff and saturation. Now going back to our discussion, when before triggering the transistor Q1 is output of transistor Q1 is approximately 0. 45 millivolts means approximately 0. At the base we have seen, just now we have seen, at the base voltage is 0.67. right, at the other transistor which is in cutoff state, output is 5 volts and base voltage is 45 millivolts. So Q1 is in saturation mode, that's why output is low. Right, this is entire values are before triggering. We have seen before triggering output is low. Now you just apply the triggering. If you apply the triggering, what will happen? The other transistor which is on the left hand side will switch on for a moment. Right, that's why Q2 is on after applying the triggering. That's why VC2 is 22 millivolts, VB2 is 0.7 volts. So output we normally collect the output at VC1 always. Here also we have collected the output at VC1. That's why we have said output is low. Here also we will collect the output at VC1. Now output is 1.71, which is nothing but a more than 0. That's why we treat this as a high. Right. So after triggering, the state of monostable multivibrator is changed from low to high. Look at the output here. Before applying the triggering, output is 0. Right, the moment we apply the triggering pulse to the base of the left side transistor, output is changed from low to high. Right, this duration of high, it depends upon RC values, RNC value, RNC time constant. Right, once that time constant elapsed, it again comes back to the 0. That's what he said. Right, in the beginning, when we are talking about the monostable multivibrator, it is going to have only one stable state. That stable state is nothing but 0, low level. Right, so this high level is nothing but one quasi stable state, which is nothing but a temporary. So initially output is low, which is nothing but a stable. When and only when we apply the triggering, the output is changed to high state, then again is coming back to the stable state. Right, this is the analysis of the simulation. Now see here, this is what happened when we close the switch, when we applied the triggering for a moment. Earlier output is 0. The moment we applied the triggering, output is high. Right, output is high. Similarly, if you remove this triggering, that is nothing but a without triggering pulse, Q1 is on, Q2 is off. If the Q1 is on, output at Q1 is low, that's why output is low. So this is all about monostable multivibrator. Monostable multivibrator do have only one stable state and one quasi stable state. Quasi means temporary, look at here, this state here, high state is very much temporary, right? It again comes back to the stable state, which is nothing but a low state here, right?